Design Question 6, Establishing Rules and Procedures.
The desired effect of DQ6 is students understand classroom rules and procedures, move easily about the classroom, and have easy access to materials. Remember, the desired effect is the intended outcome of an implemented strategy. Here you can see the lesson segment involving routine events. Within this segment are two design questions, DQ1 and DQ6. Focusing on DQ6, there are two categories of strategies, or in other words, two elements. Element 4, establishing classroom routines, and Element 5, organizing the physical layout of the classroom. The next footage serves as a preview to Design Question 6. You will see a teacher's procedures in starting class and pictures of classroom design. As you watch, pay particular attention to the elements of Design Question 6.
Class be class.
Yes, yes.
We are going to review our learning goal that we've been working on this week. I have it up on the screen, and what I want you to do is practice with your partner what we're learning and use your gestures. Go ahead.
I can compare and contrast the most
Move your body over there.
important
Move your body to work with them.
key details to represent text on the same topic.
A verb is a word.
It's an action word.
Jordan, go ahead and pull.
A way to think about Design Question 6 is to reference it as the foundation of classroom management. This question deals with the design and implementation of classroom rules and procedures, as well as the physical layout of the classroom. Regardless of how well-behaved students in a given class might be, they still need rules and procedures. Without them, teaching and consequently learning is inhibited. Design Question 6 is a staple of classroom management. Classroom management refers to all of the things a teacher does to organize students, space, time, and materials so student learning can take place. Thinking about a well-managed classroom, there are several key characteristics. 1. Students are deeply involved with their work. 2. Students know what is expected of them and are generally successful. 3. There is relatively little wasted time, confusion, or disruption. And 4. The climate of the classroom is work-oriented but relaxed and pleasant. Note that these characteristics are just a few of several critical components of a well-managed classroom. Taking a closer look at DQ6, establishing classroom routines, we know that it contains two elements. Element 4, establishing classroom routines, involves of set expectations for behavior as well as academics, explicitly teach and model rules and procedures, and review and revisit during class meetings. Element 5, organizing the physical layout, incorporates arrangement of furniture is conducive to learning, ensure students have access to all materials for class, and the room decor should reflect student learning. Next, in this module, we will learn about both elements in isolation. However, it is critical to understand that the elements really must work together in order to create the necessary conditions to build an effective classroom with established rules and procedures.
In this section, we will go deeper into Element 4, establishing classroom routines. The desired effect of Element 4 is students know and follow rules and procedures so learning can occur. In order for students to have rules and procedures, expectations must be provided to serve as the guiding principle for those rules and procedures. In other words, expectations are the what for rules and procedures. Here are some guidelines for creating classroom expectations. They're developed by the classroom teacher with student input, aligned to school-wide expectations, consistent across all activities, and are observable and measurable. Once we've established expectations, we now move to the how related to the expectations. Rules. Some key points of consideration for classroom rules are: clarify the expectations for specific settings, describe specific behaviors, and specific skills you want students to exhibit in specific settings. When developing classroom rules, think about the following. They may be decided by the teacher, however can be best when students have input. Rules are most effective when consistent throughout the student's day, and should include a continuum of consequences for rule violations. For example, first offense, a warning, second offense, the teacher and student conference, and so on. Remember, the best way to encourage rule adherence is through positive praise whenever possible. Procedures refer or apply to how different activities within the class are performed. A way to think about procedures is that an established method or way of doing something. Every critical activity in your classroom should have a specific procedure. For example, beginning lessons, transitioning between lessons, and ending lessons. For major movement within the classroom, while accessing instructional materials, when distributing or collecting student work, at dismissal, for absences and makeup work, and restroom visits. Furthermore, inefficient procedures and the absence of routines for common aspects of classroom life can waste large amounts of time and cause students' attention and interest to wane. Although the terms are sometimes used interchangeably, rules and procedures have some important differences. Both refer to stated expectations regarding classroom behavior. However, a rule identifies general expectations, and a procedure communicates expectations for specific classroom behaviors and activities. Take a moment to read the differences between rules and procedures, illustrated on the table.
Next, we'll discuss Element 5, organizing the physical layout of the classroom. The desired effect is students are able to focus on learning, move freely throughout the classroom, access all materials, and examples of students' work is visible. When arranging your classroom, there are 3 considerations. First, visual access. Can you see, make eye contact with each student? Can students easily see the board, screen, or display? Second, physical access. Can you easily reach each student? Can you easily reach your materials? Can students, including those with special needs, easily reach needed materials? Third, minimal distractions. What will compete for students' attention? Before arranging your room, it is advised to sketch out your possible classroom layout. When picturing your classroom design, there are 6 types of areas to consider. 1. Prepare floor space. Make sure you have the correct number of desks and chairs needed for your students. 2. Prepare the work area. Arrange work areas so you can easily monitor students and keep traffic areas clear. 3. Prepare the teacher area. Ensure this area is in relative proximity with clear visual access to all students. Fourth, prepare the wall space. Display expectations, procedures, learning goals, and student work in prominent places. Fifth, prepare student resource areas for students to acquire the resources they will need for learning. And sixth, prepare the student area. Plan areas for student belongings. A main takeaway in understanding the elements of Design Question 6 is that they help ensure a safe and orderly and predictable classroom, which fosters student success.
To illustrate how teachers come to know and use DQ6 strategies, we will listen to an interview conducted with a relatively new teacher. Adam Stoll is a teacher at Wiregrass Ranch High School. So Adam, through observing veteran teachers, what strategies of DQ6 did you see?
Well, observing some of the more veteran teachers, it was great to see kind of how strongly they implemented their rules and procedures. For example, the kids knew where to get paper from, the kids understood what to do when the bell rang, the students understood what to do as they were leaving, so there were all kinds of procedures in place that kind of made the class flow a lot easier. And being on my first year, I've kind of felt some of the pain firsthand of things that I haven't done to kind of implement these rules and procedures, and things that I've kind of taken for granted that I thought would get done. We've had a lot of difficulty doing things like starting class in an efficient manner, or ending class up to the.
Thinking about your PLC work, when working with and learning from your colleagues, what new practices of DQ6 will you use?
Your classroom.
Personally, the things that I thought were the strongest and the biggest difference between the class I was in and classes that my own classes sometimes have been the coming in and coming out procedures. I've done a good job always having work for them to do as soon as class comes in, but I don't think I necessarily did a good enough job prepping them on how to start right away, and the importance of not wasting time during the class. I was also impressed that we didn't have any issues. Students were able to walk around the room and get things without necessarily causing a ruckus, because they knew what they were doing and where they were going, and what was acceptable and what wasn't. So they just when they had to throw something away, they just threw something away, as opposed to basketball shooting it from 15 feet away.
I think those are great strategies too. So, reflecting on your experience this year, do you plan on making any changes for next school year?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. In fact, I can't wait kind of to get started and really have a fresh class to kind of mold and really just hit these things hard for 2 weeks. I think this year I knew they were important, and I spent a day or so going over them, and the kids were kind of shy and quiet on the first day, and they seemed to understand the procedures, but I don't think I made it clear enough and concrete enough kind of what the expectations are, what the consequences are if you don't get straight to your work. I want to kind of eliminate some ambiguity about things like where to put papers, where to go for certain things that happen. Really just go over all this stuff in more detail and stronger at the start of next year.
In summary of Design Question 6, At the beginning of each school year, effective teachers ensure that their students are clear about what they are expected to do and how they are expected to do it. Throughout the year, teachers also need to revisit with students the rules and procedures for which they are responsible. It is especially important to have ongoing discussions with students to see if any additions or alterations are needed to reinforce the classroom community as a community of collaborative learning.